The corridors of the Auroran Palace shimmered under the soft light of floating luminescent panels, reflecting off polished silver walls and the rare crystals embedded in the floor. Every corner of the palace whispered wealth and power. But today, it hummed with a different tension. The 19-year-old Princess Alira, heir to the distant planet Viridian, walked through the hall with her usual air of superiority. Her golden eyes sparkled with amusement, and her lips curled into the smirk that had humbled dozens of would-be diplomats and young nobles before. Today, however, her gaze was fixed on one person, a human named Liam. Liam was nothing like the courtly figure surrounding them. Earthborn, young, and completely untrained in the subtle arts of alien diplomacy, he had somehow been invited, or rather, insisted himself into the palace. His human presence alone had caused whispers among the Viridian elite. To them, humans were weak, unpredictable, and clumsy in ways that made even the most tactful alien advisors cringe. Yet, despite all this, Liam carried himself with a quiet confidence that none of them could deny. Alira found this human incredibly entertaining, and perhaps a little insulting. He dared to stand straight in front of her, unbowed, unawed by centuries of royal tradition. She leaned against the crystalline railing of the palace balcony, arms crossed, and laughed. It was not a kind laugh. It was sharp, teasing, kind, disguised as mockery. "You truly do not belong here, human," she said, her voice lilting, almost musical, but dripping with disdain. "Do you even understand the rules of engagement? In my court? Or do you wander blindly, thinking courage alone can keep you alive?" Liam looked at her calmly, letting the words sink in. There was no fear, no panic, no attempt to retort with cleverness or flattery. Just an unwavering human stillness. "I may not know all your rules," he said evenly, "but I know how to keep my own dignity." Her laughter faltered slightly, replaced by a flicker of surprise. Most beings, alien or human, would have panicked at such a tone in her presence. They would have apologized, bowed, or found some clever way to excuse their ignorance. But Liam did none of that. He simply stood there, steady, human, and unafraid. The other nobles whispered among themselves, their eyes darting between Alira and Liam. Many had not seen such boldness from a human, and fewer still understood it. To them, humans were fragile, fleeting sparks in the galaxy, incapable of commanding respect in a room full of ancient beings. Yet here he was, drawing attention effortlessly, not by words, but by presence. Alira's amusement returned, tinged now with curiosity. She stepped closer to him, her elegant robes brushing against the crystalline floor, making soft, melodic sounds. "You think walking upright and keeping silent makes you strong?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "You are young, human, fragile. You have no armor, here neither of body nor of mind. Do you truly think you can survive the intricacies of my world with only pride?" Liam's gaze remained fixed, calm, and unbroken. "I don't need armor to survive," he replied simply. "I need understanding and action. Armor can break, words can be ignored, but a choice made with integrity carries weight. I walk where I believe is right, not where tradition dictates." For a moment, Alira studied him, intrigued. He was unlike any human she had ever met. Most were either fearful, deferential, or desperate for approval. Liam was none of these. Human stubbornness, so often ridiculed by her kind, was not only present, but radiating, challenging her assumptions. She leaned closer, so that only he could hear, her voice dropping into a whisper meant to unsettle. "You will not last here, human. You will fall in my court, and I will make sure your failure is public. Your bravery is laughable." And yet Liam did not step back, did not flinch. He considered her words carefully, letting the weight of the insult settle around him. Then, almost imperceptibly, he shifted his posture, relaxed his shoulders, and turned. Without a word, he walked away. Alira blinked. She had expected anger, a retort, maybe even fear. But this calm dismissal was something she had not anticipated. Her lips parted slightly in shock, a rare human reaction she had only seen in simulations of emotions. The palace suddenly seemed quieter, the whispering nobles pausing in mid-sentence to watch the scene unfold. He walked through the grand corridors with steady steps, not in retreat, but in quiet defiance. It was an act of human strength that she could not have foreseen, a strength not based on power, weapons, or manipulation, but on the ability to claim one's dignity in the face of ridicule. Alira's mind raced. Most humans would have cowered, argued, or sought to explain themselves. Liam had done none of those things. He had walked away not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of choice. And in doing so, he had made the entire court pause and reconsider what they knew of humans. For hours afterward, she found herself observing him. He spoke with advisors politely yet firmly, never conceding ground unless convinced it was right. He moved with purpose, his every action deliberate, and his calm determination was magnetic. Slowly, Alira realized she had underestimated this species entirely. Humans were not the fragile, fleeting beings she had been taught to pity. They were persistent, adaptive, and capable of an inner strength that even Viridian's noblest warriors could not match. Days passed, and the palace began to buzz with rumors. The human, Liam, had not only survived the initial tests of court life, he had thrived. His influence grew, not through deceit or cunning, but through simple human honesty and action. Every time Alira observed him, she felt the same mix of irritation and fascination. One evening, during a formal banquet, she approached him again. The great hall was filled with luminescent chandeliers and dignitaries from across the Viridian system. The smell of roasted alien delicacies filled the air, and the soft hum of hovering servants added a dreamlike quality to the scene. Alira walked past the long tables, her golden eyes fixed on Liam, who was speaking quietly with a visiting envoy. "You persist," she said, her voice cutting through the murmur of the hall. "I warned you, human. I mocked you. Expected your failure." Liam turned to face her, his expression calm, but his eyes betraying a faint amusement. "And yet, here I am," he said simply. "I did not come to fail. I came to act." She felt a flush of something unfamiliar, irritation mixed with an odd respect. It was unsettling. Okay, how could one human, so unarmed and untrained in our ways, cause such a ripple through her carefully constructed world? She had mocked him, expected him to falter, and instead he had simply chosen his own path. "You do not understand our ways," she said, her tone sharper now, though her composure was tested. "Everything here is a game of influence, of appearances. You cannot simply walk away and expect it to matter." Liam smiled faintly, almost a human quirk that seemed out of place in this alien palace. "I understand more than you think," he said. "I act in ways that reflect my principles. Perhaps you mistake my method for ignorance, but it is not. Walking away is not weakness. It is clarity." Alira's eyes narrowed. She had been trained in the arts of diplomacy, manipulation, and subtle control since birth. Yet here was a human who wielded none of these and still commanded attention. Something about his calm defiance stirred a sense of challenge within her. Challenge that she found difficult to ignore. "Do you even know what you risk?" she asked, her voice softer now, almost hesitant. "The Viridian elite will not forgive your boldness. You may survive this evening, but sooner or later—" "I know exactly what I risk," he replied, "and I accept it. Fear and approval do not guide my choices. Understanding, courage, and action do. I walk where I believe is right." A hush fell over the banquet hall. Those around them realized that the human was not cowering, not bending to the centuries-old traditions, and not afraid of the princess or her threats. The audacity of it stunned even the most seasoned advisors. Alira found herself at a crossroads. She had mocked him, tested him, even attempted to intimidate him. But every action had only highlighted a truth she could not deny: humans. At least this human possessed a form of strength that transcended her understanding of power. It was not brute force, nor cunning strategy, but an inner clarity that refused to bend to external pressures. By the end of the evening, Alira had made a decision. She approached him once more, this time with measured steps, her amusement now tempered by curiosity and respect. "You have surprised me, human," she said quietly. "Perhaps more than any being I have ever known. You walk away from mockery, and yet you move forward with purpose. That is not weakness." Liam inclined his head slightly, acknowledging her words. It is simply what humans do when we believe in something. We may stumble, we may falter, but we do not surrender our dignity. For the first time, Lyra felt the thrill of encountering something truly new, a force that could not be measured by power, wealth, or tradition. She realized that she had not just been observing a human. She had been witnessing a force that could redefine the way her people viewed strength, courage, and honor.